Dr. Brennan, I finished the examination pictures on the World War I victim. Should I start repositioning the diarthrosis joint?
Precisely.
The dia what now?
Diarthrosis. It's one of the ways that joints are classified. And before you ask me what joints are, they're the site where two bones meet together and hold the bone securely together and give the root and skeleton mobility. There are 3 types of joints. Diarthrosis joints are freely movable and are predominantly in your limbs.
There are also amphiarthrosis joints, which are slightly movable, and synarthrosis joints, which are completely immovable. These are mostly found in your skull, where no movement should be happening.
My team has been specifically trained to study each of these types because we can tell you a lot about the victim's death of the case. Zach, give me your findings by the end of the day and tell Angela to start sketching.
That's way more than I asked for. Hello? Yep. Bones, we've got a case. Talk to me, Bones.
Don't call me that. Victim's female, late teens to early 20s.
And how do we know all of this?
Epiphysis fusion gives age and pelvic bone shaped sets.
That went all over my head.
Basically, our long bones have an epiphyseal plate that allows them to grow and increase in length. This plate starts to fuse with our bone as we hit 18 to 25 years old to form an epiphyseal line, hence why bones can tell our age.
I thought the agency told me that you two can do better than that.
Like you could do better?
I have to examine the body in the lab to get a better scope of what I'm dealing with, like cause of death and time of death. Zach, I want you to keep taking pictures of the scene. I want this whole thing wrapped up and taken back to the lab. Notice how her hyoid bone is broken, which is a cause of strangulation. Also keep note that both of her shoulders are out of the ball and socket joints, indicating that she was violently dragged from the location.
Bones, I'm seeing a collection of bone spurs on her vertebrae right here, and also there's some fractures all over her body, which indicates that she could have some form of osteogenesis, which is when bones are naturally weak and they tend to break easily. That or she broke them from being shoved in a safe.
I believe our victim has some sort of arthritis, which is where the inflammatory diseases damage the joints. She could have osteoarthritis, or articular cartilage sometimes softens and basically breaks down.
But osteoarthritis only occurs in people that are older, and our victim is in her 20s.
You're correct, but unlike rheumatoid arthritis, which causes inflammation throughout the entire body, osteoarthritis deals more with like wear and tear throughout the bones, which creates bone spurs. People in their 20s and 30s can develop osteoarthritis. They're very active and put contentional spurs on their joints.
So she could have either been an athlete or a dancer, right? I'm gonna go get a coffee. All this talk about arthritis makes my joints hurt.
Not needed, Zach.
Arthritis? That's what my old lady had. Do we have any updates on the identity of our victim?
Yes, actually I have a sketch of her facial structure right here.
All right, let's meet in the imaging room in 10 minutes.
So what made you so interested in this stuff?
The human anatomy class we took freshman year of college, remember?
Oh, I forgot about that. Granny and I sat in the back and doodled the whole time.
Yeah, remember when the professor made every student stand up in the 80-person class and describe all the shapes of the joints?
In the plane joints, the articular surfaces are essentially flat and only short, non-rotational gliding movements allowed.
Go.
Found in the intercarpal joints of the wrist.
Very good class. And what about the hinge joints, which are where the cylindrical ends of the bone ends fit into trough-shaped surface or on another?
Found in elbow joints, ankle joints, and between the phalanges of the fingers.
On a roll. What about condyloid joints, which is where the egg-shaped articular surface of one bone fits into the oval concavity in another and allows bone to travel side to side and back and forth?
Condyloid equals knuckle-like, so it must be in the knuckles. Let me test you. Saddle joints have convex and concave areas and move like condyloid joints. They are found in...
your thumbs. And you can do this with them.
Oh yeah!
Also, there are ball and socket joints, which are multi-axial, which means they can move in all different directions. Where a spherical bone head fits into another bone, which is found in the shoulders and the hips most likely. Also related to the injury sustained by our victim, so we should be focusing. Understood?
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I will put the information into the Angelotron. What are the limitations?
So the force exerted to dislocate a shoulder out of the ball and socket joint must have been a victim of the height of 5'4" to 5'6" and a weight of around 125.
All right. Okay, I'm done.
Wait a second. She looks really familiar. Like someone that you've seen and like heard of before, but you've never actually talked to.
Oh, I think it's Sarah Adler.
Who?
Sarah Adler. She runs a huge food blog here in Washington, D.C. She was supposed to take like a 3-month break, but no one's seen her or heard from her in a few months. It could be her. We should check the case files and see what we can find.
All right.
Sounds good.
Hello class, thank you for coming in to your continued education class to keep up your medical license. Today we are talking about fibrous and cartilaginous joints. In fibrous joints, the bones are united by fibrous tissue and sutures. The irregular edges of the bones interlock and are bound tightly together by connective tissue fibers, allowing essentially no movement. In syndesmosis, the connecting fibers are longer than those of sutures, thus the joint has more give. The joint connecting the distal ends of the tibia and fibula is a syndesmosis. Bones, pay attention please. I know you already know all of this, but you need to pay attention. Anyways, in cartilaginous joints, the bone ends are connected by cartilage. Examples of this joint type that are slightly movable are the pubic symphysis of the pelvis, the hyaline cartilage epiphyseal plates of growing long bones, and the cartilaginous joints between the first ribs and the sternum are removable cartilaginous joints.
Teacher, what about the synovial joints?
Ah yes, the synovial joints. I almost forgot. These joints, in which the articulating bone ends are separated by a joint cavity containing synovial fluid, and account for all joints of the limbs. 4 distinguishing features of all synovial joints are articular cartilage, fibrous articular capsule, joint cavity, and reinforcing ligament. Okay class, that's it for today. Thank you for coming in.
Please state your name.
Dr. Jessica Bird.
Today is October 15th, and the time is 3:15, and this is case 1003. Dr. Jessica Bird, do you know the person in front of you?
Yes, I do. That is Sarah Adler. I operated on her last October.
And what operation did you perform?
I performed a grafting technique, the new version, the new vascular fibula technique, because she came in with a broken left tibia, which is where 2 bones in her tibia failed to join, resulting in a non-union fracture. And I did a grafting technique, the new one, that uses pieces of the fibula to replace the missing gap, whereas the old grafting techniques, which don't work as well, use the hip bone to replace the missing gap.
Could her fractured bone not have healed on its own?
Well, there are some bone conditions where the bone cannot regenerate on their own, which includes extensive shattering, poor circulation in old bones, and certain birth defects. And in Miss Adler's case, that was the reason. And other techniques that we can use to expedite bone repair are electrical stimulation of fracture sites and ultrasounds and the non-grafting techniques. And we felt that was the best method to heal her bone.
Did you notice anything unusual about Miss Adler when she came in for this procedure?
I can't break patient confidentiality.
We're solving a murder investigation, so I feel like this has the grounds to break patient confidentiality.
Well, when Miss Adler came in, she didn't mention how she got this injury, and I asked her multiple times, but she seemed in very much distress. She wanted to get it done and secretly, and I did cite in her report some signs of abuse were present, especially around the bruising and her attitude about the injury and her mental state.
Thank you for coming in today.
Of course, she was a really sweet girl, and I hope you can bring her justice.
Hey, wait, I need your opinion on something. My friend just got into a really bad car accident, and he needs expedited bone repair. What does that even mean?
So it depends on the injury endured, but electrical stimulation of fracture sites is available, which increases the speed and completeness of healing in large fractures. There's also ultrasounds, which speed the repair of fresh fractures by reducing healing by 35 to 45%.
And there's also a protein that stimulates the growth of blood vessels and osteoblasts by building new bone tissue called vascular endothelial growth factor.
Wow, I could never be a doctor. I only know that bone substitutes are crushed cadaver bone that fill gaps of non-union defects because my mom had to get them in a surgery a couple years back.
That is semi-correct because it sounds like your mom had Norian SRS, which is a bone paste that's applied during surgery that is gradually remodeled by the host bone and only used on the ends.
Same difference. You're free to go now. Hey, Bones. So what do we know,
Welcome to the bar,
Bones?
guys.
So she had a major surgery about a year ago
Regular, Bones.
by a doctor.
What would you like, sir?
An old-fashioned.
Coming right up.
The doctor's name is Jessica Bird, so I'm thinking that we need to talk to her.
Okay. What about her social media presence? Anything? Her digital footprint?
She had a food blog, and we could check if any history with that.
All
Any
right.
bad reviews, whatnot. Angela finished up the reconstruction on the Angelotron, so I think we can go take a look at that when we get back to the lab.
All right. Excuse me, sir. We're ready to close our tab.
All right, thank you guys for stopping by.
By the way, before you go, do you know anything about a Sarah Adler?
Not that I recall. Thank you guys. Have a good day.
What's up with him?
I just need a lead.
Maybe my team will have some information. What's up, Zach?
Hey Bones, it's me and Angela here. We got a lead on the case.
Which is?
So when we were putting together the pieces of her bone that was fractured, we found a piece of the menu from one booth at Chinese place with a nice bar. And also one of Sarah's friends came in and told us that Sarah was having a romantic relationship with Sid from the bar. So maybe you should check that out.
Let's go!
Sid Heath, you're under arrest.
No! Hey, wait, back up!
Suspect apprehended. We're coming into the office.